Hey guys, I get this question often, and sometimes a lot of coaches will tell me that they hear from people saying, listen, I can't afford therapy. Can coaching work for me? And I want to kind of explain the difference between counseling and coaching and where there is some overlap. All right, counseling or psychotherapy is needed when you have a diagnosable condition like depression, severe anxiety, bipolar disorder, or you're struggling to deal with past issues. Maybe it's post-traumatic stress disorder, things from your childhood that keep coming up, serious dysfunction in the present that really needs a psychotherapeutic approach for healing. Now, in coaching, we presuppose that you're in a stable place, all right, that you're in a good place. There isn't any serious dysfunction that you're dealing with, but you know things can be better. It might be having a better relationship with your spouse, with your children, maybe learning, how to succeed more in your business, whatever your chosen vocation or occupation is. Coaching is going to look forward, all right, that we're going to be setting goals. We're going to be discerning where God is calling you. Now, of course, obviously spiritual direction comes into play with that as well. So if you really, need that discernment, you might be wanting to work with a spiritual director at the same time or before you start coaching. So you really kind of know where God is calling you. But coaching we're going to be learning communication skills. We're going to be learning how to accomplish goals, how to break goals down into actionable steps. There's accountability, having somebody to work with you to keep you accountable, and working on your mindset, which is super, super important. That's the biggest thing that sabotages us. Now, often our negative mindsets might be rooted in past issues, past trauma, past wounds, and past hurts. So there might be times where you're working with a coach and they say, you know what, that's really something you need to bring to a trained therapist to work with. And then, like I said, there's some overlap in terms of maybe learning communication skills, learning how to negotiate differences with somebody. So to know what the differences are, if you are suffering, if you have a condition, like I said, like severe anxiety, severe depression, bipolar disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, any kind of mental health condition, schizophrenia, whatever, you need to be working with a therapist. Now, the other question is, do you always need to be on medication? And that's something that you really need to kind of think about. The therapist is a good person to kind of gauge where you're at with that. Understand this, medications can remediate about 30% of your symptoms. So if you're struggling with depression, medication may take the edge off. However, it's not going to solve your problems because you still need to kind of look at your mindset and look toward healing wounds, all right? It's not really meant to be living on that the rest of your life unless there is a physiological condition that's causing it. So there's a lot that goes into it, and that's where a trained therapist will be better able to guide you, all right? There's also sometimes even working with a health coach in terms of how to work with your nutrition, with supplements, diet and exercise, things like that can help also boost your mental state. Because sometimes our mental state, depression, anxiety, can be related to the diet we're on, the junk food we're eating, the lack of sleep, the lack of exercise. So it's good to have like a whole holistic approach when we're talking about that. So again, if you're dealing with depression, anxiety, diagnosable conditions that are interfering with your living right now, whether they're rooted in the past or in present dysfunction, you want to work with a therapist. CatholicTherapist.com is the place to look. If you want to move your life forward, if you know that, hey, this can be better and I want to work on certain areas, that's where a Catholic life coach can be really helpful at CatholicLifeCoaches.com. So I hope you find that helpful. Let me just say one other thing. As far as spiritual direction, that is really more working with a trained spiritual director that can help you discern the movements of the Holy Spirit in your life to really enhance your relationship with God, to grow closer, to grow in holiness and peace in the Holy Spirit. So I'm going to put a link below also. There's a new website being launched for Catholic spiritual directors. I'm really excited about that. That's being spearheaded by Dan Burke of spiritualdirection.com. So I'd like to share that with you. Hope you find it helpful. May God bless you.